going to dive straight in. I'm going to go around the room effectively in the order that you all joined. So we'll start with you, Andrew. Thank you so much for your time today. How are you? How's your day been? And what's been keeping you busy today?
Thank you for having us. Day has been great. Spent the day working. So I work in sales. And then coming home, just time to wind down. Like I said, we're prepping for tour. So, run through our set a few times and, try to get the reps in and, go from there.
That sounds like a good day to me. Dave, how about you?
Mhm.
Uh, you know, uh, Doing pretty good. Again, thank you for having us. Also spend my day working. I work on a parking lot, so it's pretty hot outside. I've been sweating most of my day. Getting my steps in though, so staying active. And looking forward to a fun rehearsal with the boys later. So
Yes,
yeah, pretty
Yeah,
sir.
good day overall.
got rehearsal later on. Yeah, cool, cool, cool. Then that's even less,
Yeah.
that's more important than I'll keep you. Bobby, how about you?
I'm doing great. I'm actually off of work today. So today was my day off. It's actually like a million degrees outside. So, but I'm a weirdo. I actually like to go like jog in the heat for some reason. I get like some weird satisfaction from it. So I went for a jog this morning and kind of just did some band stuff. But today's like my chill day. So I'm kind of just taking my time to just absorb my time off because we got some rehearsal going on later on. But yeah, pretty chill day for me. Not too bad.
Good.
Kevo.
Kip.
Last but not least, right? So I'm currently unemployed, so I've been chilling. So,
Kevin's got the freedom. He's
yeah, I
got
got
the
the
freedom
freedom
right
now.
now.
Hmm.
So I've been working on a lot of the behind the scenes stuff with the terms like the band ops and getting ready for tour and all the preparation work. So been
Kevin's
juggling a lot of that.
Kevin's the anchor when it comes to that area of the
Yeah.
band. Kevin's like the yeah.
Well, then on that, we'll start with you, Kevin, and work our way backwards here because we are like knee or arm deep, however we would describe it, in the pre-release build. A lot of content, a lot of stuff that needs to happen on the build to a release, promoting the record, building excitement, sharing as much as you can with listeners. Kevin, are you enjoying the build? And what's been one of the more enjoyable aspects of it this time around for you?
So for like the whole album process, like getting ready for
Yeah, the
release.
the promote once you've got your masters, you know that it's announced, and it's just that build from that point where you've got to put your singles out and well jump on interviews like this.
Yeah, I mean, it's been really exciting. We've been really able to dabble in a lot of our creative side with like the music videos, our merchandise,
Mm.
the graphics, everything. So this is like, a really exciting time. And, this is probably like the most busiest time for us because, number one, we got our album release, then we have our hometown headliner for the album, and then 2 days after we leave for tour for a whole month. So
Yeah.
we've been juggling a lot, but it's
Going crazy.
try and enjoy all the great things that comes with it.
Yeah.
Been mostly stress free, Bobby.
I can't really say as all the guys laugh. It's not really stress free, so to say. There's been a lot of a fair share of stress to kind of go around the whole camp, but in a good way. The ball is now rolling pretty fast. Things are picking up. And not to mention this time around, like when we put out VR, it was all solely independent. So this time around, we have a whole team backing us. We got booking, we got unified, we have management now. So there's a lot more moving pieces and like a lot more opportunities, a lot more doors to go through. But so it's good. It's good stuff. And we're very thankful for it. But it's also the busiest that the band has ever been, probably
Hmm.
ever. And this is the most that the four of us have had, like ever had to like, equally divide up work and kind of just, we have a whole team and everyone's doing their part, but like when it comes down to it, we're at the core of it. Obviously, we're the four amigos,
Yeah.
but so like it all kind of like relies on us. Everyone relies on us to get things done. So like it's been hectic, very stressful, but we're all very thankful for it in a way.
Of course, of course. I mean, a lot of work doesn't necessarily a bad thing, and particularly if you're balancing between the four of you, that obviously helps, and you're balancing with each other and
Yeah.
supporting each other. Dave,
Yep.
from your perspective, this pre-release build, has there been something that you've really been enjoying about it?
Um, it's just been cool. A lot of the crowd response from every each single we've dropped has been really cool. Just people seeming to really like the dive we're taking into our brand this time around. Because we're definitely heavier. We're going deeper into a lot of the different sides of Dreamwake, and it seems like people are enjoying, you know, m most of it, if not all of it. And it makes me happy to just see, people's genuine reactions. Like we've been watching some reaction videos and stuff like that, and it's so cool to see the people, the smile on their faces and just
Yeah.
them genuinely having a good time. Oh, that was nice. That was sick. Um, and it's yeah, that's one of the coolest parts, though, for sure.
Andrew, how about you? Have you been enjoying the build?
I think Dave summed it up really well. Leading up, going through the recording process is exciting, but it can be stressful. So now, as we're releasing these singles, and like Dave said, seeing a really positive response, and whether it's reading comments or watching reaction videos, or pulling up something on Reddit, and we're discussing things, seeing the outpouring of love for the songs, as well as the hype for the upcoming release is really rewarding. So I've been enjoying it quite well.
Oh, I'm really glad to hear that because I've seen a response to the singles as well. It's been simply phenomenal. And all that positivity in such a stressful time is needed. Does it help? Does it help, Andrew, that although you've got the album release, of course, you've got the tour so soon afterwards, and it's almost a distraction to a degree where you haven't got necessarily just focus on just the album. You're also thinking mainly about the tour. Does that make a difference?
Well, I mean, it's kind of nice because I feel like we've done everything with the album. We've put in the work, and now that the release is kind of on autopilot, so
Yeah.
that's kind of handling itself. So yeah, it is a really nice distraction having that tour to prep for now, while the release just kind of does its thing. And I mean, how lucky are we that we get to drop an album and go out on a month-long tour, just days later? So it's incredible.
Lucky, yes, but it's reward for your hard work, of course. And it's been an incredible journey. We are, of course, talking. We haven't actually said it yet, but let's say it now. The Lost Years, your brand new album, out August 8th via UNFD. If you don't mind me saying, an album so clever, so enthralling, and so unique, it left me absolutely gobsmacked. I don't want to make you feel weird about it, but I was playing it earlier on, and I had to. My wife, who was sitting over there completely doing her own thing, we had to
Yeah.
stop her and say, "Look, let's listen to this together. You need to hear what I'm hearing."
Yeah.
I don't think I can give the words to give the album justice, aside to say it's an incredible accomplishment and one that you can be so proud of.
Thank you.
Dave, tell me what it means to you to release this record.
Um, Kind of everything, it's like I've really put my entire being into this record, and we all have, this whole team just like really has been living and breathing everything about this record for, the entire time we've been making it. And, especially over the last year since we've had it recorded and working on the masters and stuff, it's just been so like, you get tired of listening to the songs a little bit when you're going through the mixing process. But, after I had a break from them, I've gone back to them recently, and I'm like, it's just so meaningful in so many different ways. And like re-listening to everything, I'm like, you hear the passion and everything, and I think we show it with all the content we put out and everything too. So it just, it's really, you know, in my, at least for me, like it's my life's work. So I'm very excited. It means pretty much everything to me.
I'd love you all to answer that question as well about what it means to you. So we'll jump to you now, Bobby, if you could share your
Yeah.
opinion.
It as Dave said, it's kind of generic, but it means everything. I feel like during the writing process for myself, I kind of like battled with this self-identity crisis in a way. I guess more so kind of just like going from that, I guess, the younger adolescence phase of life into the new, like the next chapter of like everything as a whole, like leaving adolescence behind, like moving forward to like adulthood and like just like finding who you are as a person and like where you fit in with society and like so many things kind of just rushing through my head during that writing process. So like luckily I got to use that as my, I guess, my outlet and like my chance to write my story, I guess. When I write the lyrics, I write the songs, I write them like vaguely enough so like anyone can kind of like interpret them, how they want to interpret them and then relate to them how they want to relate to them. But they also, in fact, like they're very personal to me because I'm pulling from, I guess, it's very personal battles in my head. So I feel like I have a very unique tie to each song, um, which it makes it more, I guess, I don't know, wholesome that this is coming out now. I get a chance to tell my story, I guess, to the world in my own way without being very upfront about things. So I got to use this whole writing process to just cope and to have that outlet when I really needed that most. So it means to finally be at the finish line here in a way. It's very, I guess, satisfying, but kind of like sad too, because um, we're like, it's that whole part is over, and like there's always new stuff coming, but that whole past, I guess, time of my life is now over, and now I don't know. But yeah, it's been quite the roller coaster of emotions going through all of that. So it's great to finally be here.
No kidding. That's incredible. Thank you for sharing all of that.
Sure, yeah, no
Kevin,
problem.
Kevin, please,
Yeah.
your opinion on this would be fabulous.
Um, Again, it means everything. This album really shows how much we've grown since VR and our EP, and I can't be more proud for everyone in the camp for how much we've grown and like we've developed, and like it's really shown through this record. Um, yeah, it's incredible.
And Andrew, yourself.
I mean, I think it just like the guys said, it means the world. Obviously, we all devote so much of our time and effort into this, and make, sacrifices in our day-to-day lives to keep this going and keep it progressing. So, having this release finally be out, it kind of feels like it's our baby, and now we're like sending our baby off into the world, and we're like, please don't hurt it. So it means the world, and I'm happy to share what we've created with everybody.
I really am glad you all feel so strongly about this because we are at the stage, as Dave said to a degree, where you could, after hearing the song so many times over and over again, just want to get it out and forget about it for a bit until it gets kind of refreshed, maybe on the live stage. So to feel your passion is so important. But also, you've all said the same sort of thing about how you believe or feel it's a progression from VR, because I think that's something all the listeners feel. You get to hear it in a lot of the comments. You see it in a lot of comments. I concur with that as well. And it kind of got me thinking about what your vision might have been for when you first sort of set on the path to create this album. So whoever feels best placed to answer this to begin with, and then maybe you can all jump in. That vision, taking us back to the days of its creation, this album's creation. Did you have a clear vision for what you wanted to do?
Um, I guess I can start this, I guess, and everyone can kind of jump in. But um, again, like I was kind of going through what I was kind of going through, and um, I feel like at the beginning of a record writing session or like progress, there really isn't like a clear vision. I guess at least there hasn't been for me or Dave or the rest of the guys. But I just feel like we always kind of just start to write what's kind of just pure to us.
Hmm.
Comes from the heart, whether that take a long time or it kind of just comes out, really quick. But um, we kind of just gauge the vibe and the message and the whole theme of the whole record, kind of as it starts to snowball a bit. So as we get more pieces, we get more songs, and it kind of starts to come together a little bit, and then we kind of just analyze what the songs are kind of saying, and then kind of just, I guess, let them speak for themselves, and then we can kind of just gauge, I guess, a better idea of what the songs are trying to say. So, and then once we kind of get closer to the end of the whole session or the progress of it, things kind of tend to become more clear of what we want. But I guess from my point of view, like my whole record or my whole vision of this record was to kind of just, I guess, capture those warm memories and like all those happy times that everyone kind of has as a child, or like all the memories that you kind of accumulate through life up until this point. And I wanted to kind of encapsulate all of those things, but at the same time, I wanted it to kind of portray like the whole bittersweet, I guess, feeling of letting go of the past and looking ahead to the future. It's like there's a lot of a lot of emotions kind of going through your head at that time for everyone. And I feel like, you know, you're scared and it's also very exciting, but it's very hard to kind of just like let go of that whole era. So I feel like I wanted it to kind of just capture all of those feelings. I wanted to kind of I want the listener to kind of feel nostalgic and happy and warm. But I also want them to kind of like reflect on their past and also feel a bit sad about things that are like people that are no longer around or things that no longer exist and like all of that. So it's in a way it's almost like a museum of the 90s or what I thought my childhood was like. And I feel like a lot of people around my age or like our age can kind of relate to some of those things, but at the same time it's not very time specific. Like it's just a nostalgia as a whole, I guess. But yeah, anyone else?
Yeah, and I guess to add on that onto the with in more of a musical standpoint rather than lyrical, I feel like I mean, this time around, it definitely felt, I've been saying it definitely felt more intentional with the sound we want to bring to the table.
Uh,
Like VR was a lot of, experimenting with kind of what we wanted to do. And we've told the story of, Paradise, like the first time we decided to use sax in our music. And then we heard it and we were just like, all right, we'll take 10 more of those, please. And so like this time around, we had the mission of like expanding on what worked really well for us in VR and all the pieces of that we really liked, while also adding in new elements that we may not have used in the past, and just to keep it fresh. So like that was the main goal for sure, but I never really know what our songs were going to sound like going into them. It's kind of like, we just sit in the room and express ourselves and see what comes out, and then once I start to see patterns or tricks that work for the album, then I'll kind of have an idea of where I'm going. But yeah, in the beginning stage, it's just like, let's kind of like, see what happens.
experiment, you know.
Yeah.
No, I get that, and I'll be honest, I've been very surprised if you had a sort of set out clear, this is it from A to B, what we were doing, of course, because you are such an experimental band. I don't think anybody would want you to do anything but that, at least to begin with, before you start to get,
Yeah.
I don't know, a
Yeah.
handle on what you
Yeah.
want. But you mentioned it there, Dave, and I guess Andrew and Kevin, if you can kind of offer some insight into this one, from a writing standpoint, comparing it to the creative process of VR, what did you notice was significantly different this time around?
I think the easiest way to sum that up is one of my good friends was asking me about how I thought the Lost Years compared to VR, and I said it's heavier, but it's also prettier. So I think we figured out the sound that we wanted to go for and just kind of doubled down on that. And the nice thing with us is it's funny because you have all of us here and you could probably go through and you'll hear similarities in all of our answers. And I feel like we're always very on the same page with each other, and that's made writing and the whole process of creating this album so much easier because there's no bickering back and forth. And even if there is bickering, usually it's me and Dave, and usually we're arguing the same point, and then we're like, wait, we're saying the same thing just differently, and then it just goes on from there.
Either that, or I'm like, no, the China goes there.
Yeah, that's it.
Happens way too often.
How about you, Kevin? What about your kind of views on the creative direction of compared to VR?
Yeah. I mean, Andrew, you said it best, and everyone else. A good way to look at it, like, it's almost like it's the season 2 of Dreamwake, like if it's a TV show. So it's like expanding off VR, and like I feel like we extended a lot more in that realm with the whole nostalgia feels, just our visuals, the sounds, like everything all in between. So it's pretty explosive with
Yeah, we
them.
took like all of like I guess the key points of our sound from VR, and we're like, all right, here's what works and here's what people are liking. Let's just take those points and just like raise them to 11, like
Yeah.
let's just go crazy with it. And then I guess like along the way too, we kind of found some like tiny tricks with like, the guitar or anything really that kind of just fit that vibe of the record, and it kind of just went from there. But um yeah, like everyone else kind of just mentioned to you, it was just like a let's just make this but like sicker.
Yeah.
So that's what we did. So yeah.
You make it sound so smooth, so that you were all in lock with each other, understanding what you wanted to do as you went along, and a mostly unchallenging experience. Was that completely the case, though? Like when you started to get the bones, I guess, of an album, at that point, did you feel confident that you were moving in the right direction?
Um, in my
Yeah,
opinion, yeah, Dave, you can go ahead and go take this one first.
I mean, yeah, I feel like, I mean, I always say the song isn't done until we're all just like so hyped on it, just like wooing in our chairs after we hear the parts back. So it's like I think having that standard is like what gives me the confidence that I know we're heading in the right direction, I mean, at the end of the day, we're doing this for us. Like I'm writing stuff that I like. So if I think it's cool,
Mhm.
I mean, that's really all that matters at the end of the day. That's what I want to put
Yeah,
out.
you're
But
right.
chances are, if I think it's cool, the rest of the guys think it's cool. I show some friends, they think it's cool. It,
It's
I,
cool.
I have confidence with it usually when we're going through our process, and that also helps that kind of helps me be unfiltered when I write too. It's like, I'm not trying to like hold myself to some standard or something. I'm just like trying to be the best writer and guitar player, musician, whatever you want to call it, to I can be at that moment and just make something cool. And when I hear my product back and I'm smiling ear to ear, that's how I know I should be confident with it.
Yeah, agreed. Like that's pretty much what I was gonna say too. You stole my answer. Um, no, but seriously, Dave just nailed it. It has to like it's not done until like we're really feeling it, And like the songs have to just like speak to me. I have to feel the goosebumps. I have to be along there for the whole ride, and like every time. And then like Dave mentioned, there's no like there is like a rough like set, I guess, a sound that we're trying to achieve. There's like, there's somewhat of guidelines to follow, but
Mhm.
for the most part, we just write what our hearts want to write, It kind of just goes from there. And then, if something because there once in a while there are songs that we write that don't fit, and they're good songs, but we're just like this doesn't really fit with the rest of these ones, so then we'll hold it, we'll put it in the vault. But yeah, for the most part we kind of just like write, and then like all of it kind of just has the same vibe, and we're all just getting the goosebumps and smiling and crying and feeling all the emotions that the songs have to offer. So
Yeah, I mean, it's just an accurate representation of what's going on inside our heads. So as long as I feel like I've represented that accurately, then I'm confident about what I'm
yeah.
putting out. And it's just, it's cool to see people picking up on it lately. It's pretty nice, and resonating with it.
You are Dreamwake after all, so anything you do create is going to be Dreamwake. So it just yeah, it reflects you. I completely understand that. But yeah, right. I'd love to get all your opinions on this. So we'll start with you, Kevin. Actually, we'll go backwards from there. Basically, looking at the entire creative process from very beginning to where we are right now at the end of the journey, so to speak. I'd love to get something that was particularly challenging for you personally, but also something that you really enjoyed that was perhaps a favorite moment of the process for you.
Challenging. To be honest, we face a lot of challenges when it comes with the whole creative side. I mean, there's different aspects. We're always stretching and seeing
Mm.
what we could do. I mean, for example, like I know Dave loves to pump out those riffs, so like it's always a challenge trying to match that energy on certain aspects. So I would say that's probably like one of the biggest challenges, but that's all part of growth too. I don't want to stay in one place. So but I can't really pinpoint exactly what I've enjoyed most. I just love the whole process, the grind, everything. So
You just reflect on it all overall, the entire experience of creating the Lost Years, and just in just a positive way.
sorry, what was the question again? Like, so, positive.
I was just saying, you said you couldn't narrow a specific point down. I was just
Yeah, yeah.
asking that you, when you look at the entire the entire journey of the last years, for you, it is just overall a positive experience.
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%.
Great
I love
memories.
it. I love it. How about you, Bobby, then? Something that challenged you, perhaps, and something that you really look back on fondly.
I want to say one of my favorite things that I look back on fondly, and this is kind of like a personal thing, but one of the tracks on the record, VHS Dreams, I actually got to use the audio. Like the audio that's in the background of that is from my personal home movie. It's back from like 90, I think 6 or something like that. It was my third birthday party. So I
Wow.
actually digitized those home movies and I pulled the audio from it and kind of got to use that in that track. It's kind of like a emotional just like transition track. But that was my one of my just like favorite moments for like the writing process. Because it hit me right at home. Obviously, it was my audio, so I had that tie to it. But yeah, that was my first time ever actually like expressing myself like that way and like also getting like a piece of my history engraved in like our record. So it was kind of cool. But the biggest challenge for me, I really tested myself with like I guess the range of my vocals on this time or on this record. In the studio, like writing the songs, it was like they're kind of piece by piece. So it's like, all right, these sound really cool. I'm happy with this. And then we get in the studio, and then I'm singing it. I'm just like, yo, I don't know if. And yeah, Dave's always just like, yo, I don't know if we wrote these songs like a little too high, but yeah, but I don't know. I was very determined, and I'm very happy with how they came out. But yeah, I'd say I had a pretty, I shouldn't say a hard time, but like I really pushed myself vocally for this record. So I just gave 100,000%. So yeah, that was definitely the hardest part. And then again, the my favorite part was like using the home movie audio in my or our VHS streams track. But
That's
yeah,
incredible. I think that's one area that maybe people will be very surprised to sort of learn because naturally you just think, oh, you might have created that from, anything, a recording online or
maybe.
whatever it might be. So to know that, but also, you push yourself, as you say, to 110%,
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah.
shows like, and it's worth it, like because of the end result.
That's where my heart's at. Sometimes when I'm tracking the songs, I'm like, yeah, this is a little high, but like I don't know, my heart is just like this is what I want to hear, and this is how I want it to feel. It's kind of just there. And of course, there are those times where it's like, all right, this is a little bit too high. Let's bring it down a little bit. But for the most time, or for the most part, I'm just like, this is what my heart wants. This is where it is. This is that's just how it is. So we're rocking with it.
Cool, cool, cool. Dave, yourself, challenges, and favorite memories, moments.
I'd say, I mean, the biggest challenge was really, I guess, trying to break out of my shell more so as a guitar player.
Mm.
Like I feel like sometimes it's easy to sort of revert back to the same tricks you do and not expand. And I tried really hard to not pigeonhole myself like that. And overall, at the end of it, I'm confident I did a good job of it. But it was just one of those processes when I was writing, like certain songs would kind of take me a while just because I really wanted to hear it sound a certain way. And just certain things I was playing just wouldn't, might not sound right at first. And you got to really work your way around it at certain points to try and bring more flashiness out of your playing, I guess. Um, and yeah, so just kind of like really fully stepping into my shoes as the artist that I am was a bit of a challenge at first, but I feel like the record overall gave me like a much bigger identity as a guitarist. So yeah. Um, Go ahead. You look like
You,
you're gonna say something.
I was just gonna say that you can almost track your personal growth as an artist from like the last record to this.
Absolutely, yeah, yeah. Like I feel like VR was really good and the guitar work was cool, but this time around, I definitely feel that we really stepped it up with that, and you know, created more of a wow factor, which like I want to hear the wow factor out of myself. So I think
Yeah.
this is like one of the first times I've really felt that in my own shoes. So it's pretty cool. I'm pretty proud of how far I've come with that. But that was, like I said, that I'd say that was one of my biggest challenges with the process overall. Um, and favorite moment or memory, you know, it's too many to choose from. I don't know which
Mm.
I would pick as my favorite, but I mean, I guess just I would actually say this is kind of specific, but the ride home from the studio, because we track about like 9 hours from home. So the day we were driving home, Bobby and I decided to put on the demos of the record in my car, and just hearing all of those for the first time, like fully recorded on the studio, and knowing that we accomplished all of that with a pretty strenuous couple of weeks of recording, to be honest with you. That was like a really cool moment where it was just like, all right, we did it. Now it's finally on to the next phase, and like
Mhm.
actually getting this record together with content and stuff like that. Like we finally tracked our product and stuff. So yeah, that is one of my favorite moments. I remember too, it was a really beautiful day out. It was a little hot, but we had the windows down anyways because it was just, Bobby and I are windows down guys
Yeah,
with the
yeah.
music. So we just put the windows down and vibed out to our music, and it was a really cool really cool moment for us after all that hard work. So yeah.
Mhm.
Amazing. And Andrew, it's your turn, please. Your biggest challenges and favorite memories, moments.
So biggest challenge, I would definitely say, recording the album and recording all the songs. We all like to push ourselves as musicians and as performers, and Dave likes to push me even further. Um, like
You're
he'll
you're,
write a
you're
riff
noticing a
and a
theme here.
drum part, and just I'll be like, Dave, there's not like one downbeat in that whole thing. Like what is this? What
Yeah,
is
what
this
of it?
absolute gibberish?
Why, what's
Um,
up?
What's up?
but challenges are meant to be overcome. So I'm happy to have bandmates like these guys that we all want to see each other perform as best as we can and push ourselves, and we all hold each other accountable for that. Um, Favorite memories or anything else from the album. So favorite part of the whole thing is like shooting the music videos, creating the visuals and doing all that. I feel like I play a fairly big part in like the aesthetic for the music videos and like the ideas and everything like that. I mean, you guys can disagree, but I'm always, shout out to our director Alex Kavatzos. Um, I'm always barking down his ear about like, oh, like let's do it like this or let's do it like this, and he just takes all the ideas that are in my head and brings them to life, and it's always so rewarding. Creating that whole feeling for all the music videos as well as all the other pictures, the artwork for the album, and brainstorming all the ideas for that is the most rewarding to see all that come to life as well.
So that is another side of another side of being a creative that you find self-fulfilling.
Oh yeah.
Incredible. Guys, I know you want this album to be successful. I want it to be successful, but I don't think any of us really know what that means anymore. Success is defined in so many unique ways, and I think it's quite individual these days, and that's what I want to ask you now. Going round the room again, we'll start with you, Kevin. Success. For you, what would success for this album look like in your eyes?
To be honest, um, as long as it's touched everyone, all our listeners, it's reached as many people as possible that's been going through a hard time.
Mhm.
Because back then, listening to bands and all that has helped me mentally and
Yeah.
the day-to-day life and all that. So
Same here.
um to be honest, like the biggest goal of mine, and I could probably speak for everyone else, to help heal people through music. So I feel like that would define success for me for this record.
That's very heartwarming, Kevin. I do.
So,
I'll go next. I do agree with everything Kevin just said. I guess emotionally, that's where my heart's kind of at, and that's the thing I'm like we're all seeking for most is for people to kind of just receive this and like being able to use this as an outlet for all of their emotion or just a place to like escape to, like Kevin mentioned. Him and I are both very huge Linkin Park fans, so I remember back in the day we listened to Hybrid Theory, and
mm.
that was just the album where I got to like escape and just leave all my troubles behind and kind of just jump into this world and get completely just lost in the music. So I want everyone else to be able to have that outlet like I did and like we did because it can save a life. So So I guess emotionally, that's where I would want the album to kind of be. But when it comes to like actual like physical success, I think I would like the band on this record cycle to tour Red Rocks, well, play the Red Rocks. That's like a huge goal of mine. Um, and probably a European tour or something. I don't know. But
Mm.
yeah, I just want this record to get to as many people as possible. And if that means I have to go to every single spot on the planet to just like shout it out, that's what's got to happen. But yeah, I don't know.
100%.
That's where I'm at. So yell it from the rooftops. But yeah.
But
Yeah. Sorry.
no, I was gonna say, Dave, you started, so yeah.
My turn.
My turn.
So I guess, I mean, these guys are summing it up really well, but I just to really just get it in the ears of as many people as possible, like these guys said, and just honestly tour as much as possible too on this record. I think our live show is something. There's something to be said for it. It's a fun time, um, and just to get to play in front of more people, visit more places in the name of this album would be really awesome, and just to spread the
Yeah.
word of Dreamwake and have people see it live like that. Just to more tour opportunities, maybe Europe, like Bobby said. Who knows? Just everywhere. That would look like success for me. It's just getting to be everywhere in the name of the lost years and Dreamwake. So
Yeah.
Andrew.
I mean, I would have to agree with everything that everybody said.
Mm.
Means thanks. Success for this album looks like getting it in the ears of as many people as possible, and having people just really resonate with it, in their own way. It doesn't have to be exactly the same thing that we're feeling, but that's the beautiful thing about music. And then not to be selfish, but the way that I kind of see it is I got to make an awesome record with three of my best friends, and it's being released on a record label that I used to find bands from when I was 12 and 13 years old. So to me, like, it's already a success, and everything else is just a bonus on top of it.
to the point.
Well said.
Well said. And then we're just going to wrap it up, guys, because we talked about it a few times, but throughout August and into September, of course, you're all over the US. A nice month-long, thick-ass tour. Oh, wait, no doubt you're going to be super excited to bring these songs to the live environment. So I kind of want you all just to do this as a group. I presume you're going to be super, super stoked to play these songs live.
Oh,
Is
yeah.
that the case?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I can't wait. They're feeling good.
We're so excited. Like we're actually going through like all like the rehearsals now for playing the entire record. And now that we're playing these songs as a full band and like feeling the vibe of the room and just the energy as a whole, like it makes me so excited because like, these songs just they mean so much to all of us. But like just to finally like play them together, like when we're all jamming together, like you feel it, especially when everyone's kind of locked in, everyone's like on the same wavelength. It's just like there's just certain feeling that you get of like I can't even explain it, but it hits. And then like playing these songs now, it's just like the VR songs they still hit, but like playing these brand new songs and like when we're all locked in, just really feeling the emotion, and we're all just vibing out on our instruments. It feels so good, and it just makes us so excited to go out and play these songs and share this feeling and experience with like so many other people. So can't wait.
Absolutely.
Oh, I'm horribly jealous, but hey, who knows what 2026 will bring in regards to that. But
Hopefully we get
for
out there.
now, yeah, for now though, we got the album right, August 8th, UNFD. It is the Lost Years. You blew me away, guys. I didn't expect. I know after in a music review world, you do 10 death metal records in a row, you start to get a little numb. So when you get to feel something again, whether it might, even though it's a matter of happiness and sadness at the same time, you're absolutely nailing it, at least from my
Thank you.
perspective.
Thank
Dreamwake,
Thank
thank
you
you
so much.
all so much for, well, taking the time to speak with me.
you.
Thank you.
Anytime.
Yes.
We
Of
love
course,
it.
Carl.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us. It's been awesome.